I love printing. I love printing. I love it. I love printing. Hey everybody, I want to welcome you back to another session of Printer to Printer with me, Warren Werbitt, also known as the Print Whisperer. Today we are not meeting with another printer. Decided to change it up a little, and we're going to meet with Joel Suissa of Suissa Design out of Miami, Florida. Welcome, Joel.
Welcome. Thank you.
Cool. So before I jump into anything, how about you just give us a little bit of background on you?
Sure. Well, like you, I grew up in Montreal many years ago and actually went to McGill and I studied marketing there. And I really loved advertising. And I was fortunate enough to get a great job in an agency called J. Walter Thompson in Montreal.
Cool.
And when I was there, I realized, and by the way, I was on the marketing end of it, I was an account person. And I realized there that I was in the right building, but in the wrong floor. I loved advertising, but I didn't like so much the marketing end of it. I really loved the design and the creative end of it. So I stuck with it for a few years and decided to go back to school and moved to New York and went to a great design school down there called Parsons and stuck with it. Worked there for a few years. I'd married a girl from Florida and moved down to Florida, and I've been on my own ever since. Most of my work, actually, I would say 95% of all the work that I've done has been in print, mostly in annual reports and a lot of books, lots of exhibition catalogs for local museums down here.
Cool. Love it. So I'll just let everyone know why I decided to have Joel on. I got an envelope the other day at home and I opened it up and I almost wet myself. It was an annual report. When was the last time anybody's seen a real annual report? It's been so long, and I love annual reports. I always love the design. I love the paper. I used to sign up on CDAR, or one of the companies that listed them all. I would buy them. I would order them all, never read them, just look at the design and the pictures. And I thought, oh my. So I actually looked up in the back, because if you look at the back, you could always find who did it. And I just called Joel up out of the blue and said, hey, Joel, I'm a print guy on the phone. And I think he was a little, at first you were like, who? And so I called because I just wanted to know, wow, annual reports, like how exciting. Do all your clients still do them, or who does them, or how do you do them? Well, just everything. Tell me about it more.
Well, back in the heydays, I was doing maybe 5 annual reports a year, various companies down in South Florida, major companies down here, Royal Caribbean, Perry Ellis, SBA Communications, at the time, Andrix Corporation, and so on. And then I got working with Watsco, and they are the only ones I do an annual report with. And I'm doing it every year with them, have been for the past 13 years. They're a wonderful client. And they love the annual reports, and so do the people who receive them. They get good feedback, and it makes a difference for them, I think.
So first of all, I'd like to give if I had a cheering crowd behind me, but I don't have those, to Watsco for continuing to do an annual report, and let them know I love them, even though they don't know me. Yeah. I still say today, in terms of print, that really it stays with you, right? You print it, it sends it out. I've had it on my desk for a few weeks, probably going to have it here for a lot longer. But I find it so much easier to cruise through books and find what you want than scroll, online or on an online magazine.
Right.
Actually, I make the joke all the time. I mean, I do a lot of fishing, as we spoke before, and my Bass Pro Shop catalog, like I need that when I'm sitting on the can, because I don't want electronics. The other thing is you get to fold pages if you want to come back to something. I think today with all electronics, we don't remember where we were, and we don't remember if we're coming back to find the place.
Right.
Do you have other customers that do, you mentioned print. What else do you design for print?
A lot of exhibition catalogs for museums down here. So whenever a show comes into local museum, like the Boca Museum, for example, I'll put on a show and I'll lay out an entire book for them that outlines the show itself, the artist, what's in the work, what are the works that are in the show, description of the works, etc.
Cool. So, quantity wise, what kind of quantities? Like, for instance, Watsco, how many copies did you print?
This year, oddly enough, we printed a lot more than last year. We printed about 30,000 of them.
Nice. And kudos to the printer who got the contract.
Yeah,
Happy to hear that. Did
yeah.
you go web or offset?
It was offset. I debated that, but because of the way it was bound, because we have little inserts in there, I thought it'd be a little bit more complicated. Exactly, right in there. So I said, let's just do it conventionally and print it offset.
Good, because really at heart, I'm an offset guy. The
Hmm.
digital, the web, it's all nice,
Hmm.
but I find it's easier to proof when you're on an offset press,
Oh, yeah.
right? You get to
I,
look, make the pressman crazy, lower this, raise that.
yeah. I am printing a ton of calendars, as a matter of fact, that I designed myself. Most of them are going to be printed web, and some of them are going to be printed conventionally. So,
Wow, cool. And when you're doing like for the museums, what do they print in terms of quantity
oh,
wise?
that's different. It's a whole different ball of wax. I'll print as little as 500 to maybe 2,000. It's always usually a small run. It's always offset.
Well, I think the offset's still the best quality, no matter what
Yes. Yeah.
anybody says.
Yeah.
Do you do any digital personalization for any of the clients?
I did once before, but not much. I don't have that much demand on it. It's a great thing, but I don't have that much demand for it.
You should probably speak to the museums about doing their mailings to people because you probably do some really good creative stuff, adding some embellishments,
Right, right.
right? And
They on more of their promotional items. I think that would help a lot, but I don't get involved so much in their promotional items. It's really mostly the books, the catalogs that I work with
the
them on.
bigger projects,
Correct,
not the rush, get it out by Friday and have a headache.
correct, correct.
That,
Exactly.
that that's
You've
good.
been there, you know it.
That's good. So what do you really like? What do you love most about print?
uh, I'm just used to it very much. I've been doing it all my life. I love the feel of the paper. I love the ability to hold it and to work at your pace and to look at the piece whenever you want. You dictate if you want to pick it up when it's on the coffee table, like you said, if you're on the can or in the bathroom, anywhere you want, and it's at your leisure. And you can pass it around easily. You could show it to someone, share it. So I just love print, and from a design point of view, it's I find it's really unique in the sense that it's just designer and the paper, or designer and the screen in this case. That's just working to you're working with it. That's it. There's no one else really dictating it, and you're not so limited to what you can do on online or so. Print works best for me.
Excellent. And so I think when I see the annual report and then I'm chatting with you and you've been at it a little while, something I've noticed recently, typography seems to have gone out the
Uh,
window,
uh, uh,
right?
Thank you, thank
Like
you, thank you. Yeah.
people don't understand today that the type actually makes the
Right.
image.
Correct. I think that's a function of what they're doing in schools. Actually,
Yeah,
I
nothing.
taught typography was king when I was in school, and you learned every typeface and you learned how to use it and use it well, etc. And I think there's a less sensitivity, much less sensitivity to it now. If you look at all the annual reports that I've done for Watsco, or virtually all of them, they're all typography based. They're all strong on typography, whether it's the typeface itself or how it's handled, but it's a major component in the work. It's a really defining factor.
So when I think about the typography and the lack of it today, when you hire designers and they're youngins
Yeah,
meaning anything younger than us,
yeah.
um, how do you find that they work in today's environment, or do they work well the same way in today's environment?
It's very different. It's very different. They know very little about typography. They're great at illustration, Photoshop, uh, manipulating work, The weakness is also in conceptual strength. Can they come up with a great idea? That's what makes a great designer, in my opinion. Um, and a lot of them are lacking that, I find, and that they're relying more on the ability of the program to make their work sing, if you will. Uh, but I'm always looking for that great idea. That's what my annual reports are always based on. That's what my calendars are based on. And even within the books that I do for museum, it's not just about the work itself, but it's creating a visual that or message that with the artist, that matches what the artist's work is doing, what he's doing.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, print design, design and print. I think just it goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the youngins today, kind of like Google, they're just used to flipping around very quickly. So the
Yeah,
attention span of maybe sitting and even getting creative is
could
not
be.
the same, right? Because you're just, I find it even with myself, you just move around a lot.
Could very well
Um,
be.
so next question, which is current.
Yeah.
What do you know or what do you feel about the whole Chat GP3 thing, the AI, and how it's already interfering with what designers do, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've seen people for some product start it, whip up the basic, and then they'll go in and finish it up.
It kind of reminded me of what clip art was at one time. Was
Mm,
that, wow, I could get all this stuff and it's so easy and it's right there and there's so much of it. I went to someone's house for lunch just the other day and they put in some word. They told me about an exercise that they went through. They put in some words in Chat GPT and they came out this beautiful illustration. It's great. Great. It's a tool. Again, it's can you come up with a great concept? It's got to, if you can match it with a great concept, then fine. It's great. I'd love to use it if I could. Haven't done it yet, but it's it's going to help. It's going to help us a lot.
it's actually it's a little scary,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just with what it does. I think people just have to be careful because you still need people element.
Listen, they said, "Oh, desktop publishing. Oh, anyone can publish now. Oh, they got Word and they got
Yeah.
all this other and wow, I can design by myself. I got all these typefaces." It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You got to know how to use it, and it's got to be based on a great idea.
Yeah, I think it'll come in play in many ways, but I think we have to be careful of it. And I mean, someone was even telling me that there's another AI app out there where you could take what you've written and put
Mhm.
it in there, and it'll tell you how much of it is Chat GP3 and how much of it's human,
Yeah, yeah,
which is kind of crazy to begin with.
yeah. I mean, we have to look for the benefits of it. Uh, Maybe I need an illustration, and it's there, and it matches. It can put together something, a concept that I'm working on, and it's great. So, right?
Yeah, anyway, I think there's some good stuff coming with it. I'm actually more afraid of the evil stuff that can come from it.
Definitely, some people are going to get hit badly. Absolutely. A lot of people are going to lose their job. The clerics are going to lose their jobs. Don't work in it. Don't expect to be a bank teller in the next 5 years or so. You're not going to have a job,
Yeah,
administrative, and so on.
I also think like everything else, everything around it will change and will readapt in different
Yeah,
ways because someone's going to
absolutely.
have to manage the Chat GP3 and or the AI or
Yeah,
whatever it might be.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's almost a little Star Trek like, hey, all the stuff that we used to watch
Yeah,
is comes back around. We had the Motorola flip phone.
yeah.
Uh, now this Chat GP3 is like the computer that shows you screens and people.
But this is
I'm just
powerful. This is really powerful.
I'm just waiting to be able to tap my heels together and end up somewhere else like Dorothy. That's when
Don't
I
for-
know
don't
we
forget
will
the
have done it
regulator
right.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Cool. Anyways, before I cut you off like I do everybody else,
Yeah.
anything you want to add before we go?
No, I just got to compliment you on the work that you do and that you're a lover of print. And whether we like it or not, print is going. It's going
Oh man.
strong. I mean, I had to what I had to jump through hoops last year to get my annual done because printers were so backed up, paper was hard to get. It was a challenge, and it's a good sign. It's a good sign that it's
By the
healthy.
way, I always know where to get paper, and I always know who could print. So
Ah,
if you're ever
good
jammed
person
up,
to
be sure
know.
to give me a call, and we'll make that work.
You got it. I appreciate
Awesome.
that.
Hey, so Joel, I do appreciate you taking the time to come on and chat with
Okay.
my 11 followers. Hopefully, there's more, but I haven't been able to count them
12,
all yet.
including my mother. Okay.
Okay, then
Good.
your mother's going to watch this one. Excellent. Maybe get your son to watch. And if your son ever comes up to Montreal to visit anyone, you can call me. I'll be happy to go fishing with him.
You got it. You got a partner. Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay.
To everybody else, again, I thank you all for tuning in and listening. I hope you enjoyed today's little chat. If anybody wants to talk about anything, know anything, be on with me, just send me a note, reach out. I'm around all over the place. Otherwise, Warren Werbitt, what they think, and I love print.